This is the roundup video for September 2019. As usual, I'm just going to go through the documentation website and then take you back to the software when we actually want to look at these changes. So I'm going to try and keep this one quick because I feel the previous roundup videos have been a little bit too long. So on the 2nd of September, we made 3 changes. We added a safety check date to the vehicle card. This is mainly for Irish markets that don't have the MOT test. To the job sheet list, we added the ability to view the net and gross value of the job sheets without having to open the job sheets. And we also added the ability to search the Autodata repair times and service schedules using model and engine code instead of vehicle registrations. So this is really useful if the vehicle's not been registered with Autodata, it's had a plate change, and in particular useful for the Irish markets again. So let's just take a look at these changes. So from the job sheet list, you can see the amounts here. Now to enable these, you'll need to go to choose columns and just add the amount and amount including VAT. So if we go into the job sheet, I'm going to open the vehicle card. And you can see this new field here, this next safety check date. Now this is again available from the vehicle list as well. So if you want to contact the customers, then you can do so. And the Autodata change, so under actions, functions, actions lookup, you can see repair times by engine code. So if I select repair times by engine code, it already knows what the make is, and I've just got a list of essentially BMW engine codes now to choose from to get to the Autodata repair times. This is of course if it doesn't pick it up. Now 99% of the time you're just going to be able to press repair times and it's just going to find the engine code for you automatically. So on the 10th of September, with the Irish markets, there are multiple VATs to consider. So we had to add to the invoices the ability to display multiple VAT rates and the amounts that apply to those VAT rates at the bottom of the document. What this introduced for the UK customers was when you used an MOT line, it was displaying 0 VAT line at the bottom, even if it was 0. So now that's been rectified, you'll no longer see this. You can now view the caption texts next to the radio buttons on vehicle inspections. So let's just take a quick look at this. So if I open a vehicle inspection, you can have it one of 2 ways. You can actually have some detail next to the radio button, or you can just have the radio buttons like this. We added the ability to adjust VAT amounts and documents for discrepancies. So purchase invoices, if your supplier works by line, and so it all depends on what method the supplier uses when calculating the VAT. The good news is now it doesn't matter which method they use, because if you do have the 1 penny discrepancy, then you can very simply make an adjustment. There's a video here which will give you more detail on how to do that. We added the ability to countersign vehicle inspections. So again, if I show you this, you can have a technician and an approver. This is particularly important if you're doing like government contracts, HGVs, etc. You quite commonly need to countersign inspection sheets. Okay, so on the 22nd of September, we made some significant changes to the fact box, which I'll run through in a minute. We extended so on purchase return orders, previously there was a cut-off on extremely long part numbers. Now we've extended that, so it doesn't matter how long the part number is, it's going to display the entire thing on the printout of the purchase return order. But let's just have a look at some of these changes on the fact box then. So I'll go to the fact box in the system. We made the VIN clickable to open the vehicle card. So previously you had to go related vehicle card. Well, now you can just click on the VIN and it will open the vehicle card for you directly. We added brake horsepower, MOT due date and service date to the fact box as well. We added some operational tiles, so from here you can see related documents which are related to the vehicle registration. So any vehicle inspections that are done awaiting confirmation, any incomplete VHCs or ongoing estimates can be found from within the job sheet fact box. And then you can access historical documents, so if you want to see previous estimates, previous health checks, or existing job sheets that are already open within the system, you can do so from the fact box. In the customer section, we also made the phone number click to call. Now you can still press this button here, this still works, but you can also press it here as well. The email is now clickable, so it will open the email client, whatever the default is set on your system. And you can view, you could do this previously, but for those that weren't aware, you can view the communication log from here as well. So if you've sent any emails or text messages, then they can be picked up from here. So they're the improvements to the fact box. On the 29th of September, we obviously introduced the survey and net promoter score feature. Very quickly, just give you a brief run through of this as a detailed video and a much more detailed write-up of this feature. But ultimately, it sends automated SMS and email feedbacks. There are very detailed new Power BI reports, so you can analyze all of the feedback information. There's live customer insights and access to previous feedback, so you'll probably notice in the fact box here, depending on how the customer feels about you, you can actually see if they're a detractor, passive or promoter. And if you click on here, you can get access to the previous surveys from that customer as well. We also added a tile to the home screen for incoming feedback. So if you've received any surveys throughout the day, you'll see you have a surveys to review tile. If you open this tile up, you can obviously view the feedback from here. But then you can action the feedback as well. So if you want to leave comments about this particular feedback, you can categorize feedbacks. If you want to, you can leave customer comments about this feedback. So the next time you see the customer, the person who sees the customer is going to get a warning about any comments you leave for the customer. You can access the customer card and job card related to the survey. You can request reviews as well. So I'll just show you this. Very quickly show this feature. If you want to use the feedback to send customer review requests, if they've left a good feedback, then you can send an SMS straight from this screen. And you can also set a review requested date. So you can see that this survey, although you're not going to send a detractor a review request, but you could see if it was a promoter that you've actually requested a review on this particular date as well. Now again, there's much more detail on this in a different video, which I'll leave a link to. We added the ability to add paragraphs to reminders, so admittedly this was a user frustration. So under customer notification setup now, you can actually add paragraphs. Previously it wouldn't format to a paragraph, well now it does. So if we take a quick look at the MOT reminder by email, you can see that paragraphs now work. You can now view tire label information on documents, and in addition to that, you can add extended descriptions to items. So this falls under the same piece of development. So I'll show you this. So I'm just going to print an invoice to show you the example. So if the item card has fuel, grip and noise information, it will automatically pre-populate the extended description for you, so you can see it on an invoice like this. So if you scroll down to the lines, you can see the tire on the document, and you see how it has an extended description as yes. Well, if we open this, you can see it's populated this. Now this works like the labor extended description, so if you want to add anything here, you can, and you can be as detailed as you like. So you can write as much as you want here. And this adds to the same place that the tire label information will go, so it will go as smaller text directly under the item or label description. We added the ability to set estimate reminders and the estimate reminder tiles. So again, I'll show you this. So from the home screen, you're going to have noticed a couple of new tiles. So this gives you the facility to set reminders if an estimate hasn't been successfully sold. And depending on which date you set, you're going to get these tiles populate. Now the date ranges of these tiles are customizable to you. So if you want the upcoming reminders to be a month ahead, then you can set that in the settings. But if we just take a look how this works. When I open this tile, I can see that this estimate for this particular labor line has this reminder date. If I open the estimate up, it's really simple to do. On the estimate line, so an estimate can have multiple reminder dates. It's not one date for one estimate, it's a date per line. So if you want to set the air conditioning service to have a particular date, then the wheel alignment can have a different date. And it's just as simple as just setting the dates on these lines here. and they'll populate the tiles for you. So the last change to speak about is order numbers can now be made mandatory for specific customers. So again, if I go to a particular customer card, under invoicing, you'll find a new slider called external document number mandatory. If I enable this, I can't post an invoice against the customer until I've had an order number. So very useful for fleet customers or large account customers. So be sure to check out the link to the more detailed information on the Net Promoter Score, and there's a video specifically about this. It's extensive, there are a lot of features, and it goes into the Power BI information as well. So that's the roundup. Any questions, please let me know. Thank you.